Hey everybody, Coach Sean, the Rip Grandpa. Whenever somebody asks me at 51 years old, what's your secret? How do you stay so lean year round? There are 3 simple steps that I share with them, and inside this video I'm going to share all 3. The first one's called the dynamic duo, the second one is called the compound effect, and the third one is called hormonal entrainment. Now there's a fourth one, a bonus step that is definitely more of a strategy than it is a tactic, but if you don't have this fourth one in play, the other 3 really won't matter, and I'm excited to share that in just a few minutes. So without further ado, let's do this. It does not matter what diet you follow. You could do a keto diet, a paleo diet, a plant-based diet, a carnivore diet, Mediterranean zone, carb cycling like I prefer because you don't have to eliminate food groups. It really does not matter if you maintain a calorie deficit and you get adequate protein intake. Now this has been proven time and time again in real world case studies and in research, starting with the Twinkie diet. This guy ate nothing but Twinkies and junk food with a protein shake every day, and he maintained a calorie deficit of around 400 to 600 calories per day, and he lost almost 40 pounds. Now what blew me away was his before and after blood work was incredible. I thought for sure because he was eating all this processed sugar and junk that his blood work wouldn't really be that much better, but it was incredible to see how much his blood work improved just from losing 38 pounds just by maintaining a calorie deficit every single day. Now with all this being said, they did not measure how much muscle he lost, and they did not measure how much water he lost. Remember, for every gram of carb that you consume in your diet, your body will hold almost 3 grams of water. So the second you go on a carb cutting diet and you eliminate carbs, you're going to lose about 4 or 5 pounds of water in the first 6 or 7 days automatically. With that being said, there's no way this guy lost 38 pounds of water and muscle. The majority of this weight he lost was body fat for one reason. He maintained a calorie deficit. He burned off more than he took in. And so that's rule number 1. You got to be doing that at least 5 or 6 days per week if you want to see results. Number 2 of the dynamic duo is adequate protein intake. So if we took you and your twin and you guys both ate the same amount of calories every day, you had the same activity level, you burned the same amount of calories, but your twin ate more protein, your twin would win. Your twin would lose more weight, he would have a faster metabolism, they would have less hunger and cravings, they would lose less muscle, and they would suffer from less rebound weight gain because protein is the king of all macronutrients. I shoot for 1 gram per pound of my ideal body weight on a daily basis. So I weigh 190 pounds and I make sure to try to get at least 200 grams every single day because the very act of eating protein increases your metabolism through TEF, the thermic effect of food. This phenomenon is also known as DIT, diet-induced thermogenesis. Because protein is so thermogenic, it actually increases your metabolism just through an act of eating and digesting it. So make sure you consume protein in every single meal, and if you're active like you should be, and I'll talk about that next in the compound effect, you should be making sure you shoot for 1 gram per pound of your ideal body weight because most of the research bears this out. In fact, they've done dozens of studies showing dieters, when all things are created equal, dieters who eat more protein will win the game every single time when it comes to weight loss. Okay, step number 2 is what I call the compound effect, also known as synergy. And see, most people, when they go to attempt to lose weight, they always think that more is better. So they want to cut out carbs and calories and then do lots of cardio, and they forget about weight training, or they hate cardio, so all they do is weights and then try to cut carbs. The reality is you shouldn't be doing any of this. The reality is you need to create a synergistic effect or a compound effect of all these things working together. Yes, you need the dynamic duo, your calorie deficit and your adequate protein intake. Yes, you need steady state cardio and HIIT. Just don't overdo it. A couple sessions each every single week, and then 3 or 4 weight training sessions. When you take a calorie deficit, adequate protein intake, a little bit of cardio, a little bit of HIIT, and some weight training, and you create the compound effect of those things working together synergistically, this is what's going to melt fat off your body. Each of these things individually isn't near as powerful as them working together. So the sum of the parts together is 10 times more effective than one of them individually. Also, if you go on a diet and you think just excessive amounts of cardio and cutting carbs is the way to get your skinny body and you're an apple or a pear-shaped body, you're just gonna end up being a smaller pear apple. This is why weight training is so important. The second you hit 40 years old, sarcopenia rears its ugly head and you start losing muscle. Muscle equals metabolism. You're gonna keep your metabolism elevated, And when you burn off that goo, it's gonna make you look great naked. So instead of becoming a smaller pear or apple, you'll have something lean, toned, and sexy to show for it. So never underestimate the power of the synergistic effect of all these things working together, the compound effect. The third strategy is called hormonal entrainment. It only takes about 1 week of being in a calorie deficit and following the dynamic duo before your metabolism slows down, and this is called metabolic slowdown. Now, protein intake can help combat this, but research shows that leptin and thyroid hormones can suppress by up to 50% after just 1 week of low-carb dieting. Now, both of these hormones regulate your body weight and help control the speed of your metabolism. Well, fortunately, our favorite high-carb foods like rice and potatoes have glucose molecules that are the building blocks of thyroid and leptin hormones. So simply by having a couple high carb days every single weekend where you increase your carb intake, you can stop metabolic slowdown by resetting and boosting your thyroid and leptin hormones every week. So number one, you have a life because you're way more likely to be social and have parties and concerts and other things going on the weekends where you want to eat more carbs. Number two, it's going to benefit your metabolism because it's going to stop metabolic slowdown and it's going to prevent those weight loss plateaus that rear their ugly head. Now, a second strategy to help control hormones that I personally love to use is intermittent fasting, and it's not for everybody. And at the end of the day, without the dynamic duo in place, it doesn't matter really when you eat your food. However, when you have a set feeding window, at least 5 days per week. I like to do Monday through Friday and take the weekends off. And a set fasting window, and you do this at least 5 days per week, you get something called hormonal entrainment, where your body will not even release ghrelin pulses, your hunger hormone ghrelin, will not even be released until it's time to break your fast. A perfect example is this is after I carb load on the weekends, every single Monday I fast 18 to 22 hours because I'm just not hungry after eating all those carbs all weekend long. I just don't get hungry. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the same thing happens. I literally will not get hungry until 1 or 2 in the afternoon simply because my ghrelin has been trained to release at that time. Now, also during that fasted window, remember the other hormonal effects that can happen. Growth hormone elevates dramatically. Free fatty acids will be released from fat cells and be burned as fuel because insulin and blood sugar are very low and stable. So this releases a hormone called glucagon that helps burn fatty acids. So your body's ability to potentially burn stored fat during the fasted window is increased dramatically by the hormonal effect because your body's sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response, is activated during a fasted state. And that will release all these hormones that I've just been discussing. So do not underestimate the power of hormonal entrainment in your quest to lose stubborn fat. So I want to end this video with my fourth bonus tip on neuroscience and your BS. You see, without the proper BS, not the BS you're thinking about, the proper belief system in place, the 3 strategies that I just shared with you, the dynamic duo, the compound effect, and hormonal entrainment, really will not matter. So you have to believe what you're doing is working in order for it to work. Now, I know this might sound silly, but let's talk about a couple studies that bear this out and confirm it. So they did a study on 2 groups of dieters where they gave them all a 380 calorie smoothie. One group was told it was 620 calories, it was full of sugar and fat, and the other group was told it was a 120 calorie diet shake. The researchers did blood work at the 20, 60, and 90-minute mark afterwards, and the group that thought it was a diet shake released more ghrelin in their blood and was already more hungry simply because they believed in their head that it was a diet shake, where the group who thought it was a 620 filling shake full of fat and sugar released less ghrelin, confirming once and for all it is all about your BS. Now, they did another study where they took 2 groups of maids and they just informed one of the groups that their job was good for them. They told them that every day when they cleaned hotel rooms, that their job met the requirements for the Surgeon General's recommendations for exercise. Now, they did all this blood work and all these markers, BMI, weighed them in, measured them, and then they went back 8 weeks later, and sure enough, the group that was informed in their head every single day that the cleaning those rooms was good for them lost more weight, had better BMI, and had better blood work simply because of their BS, their belief system. So never underestimate the power of your BS in your quest to lose stubborn fat. Thanks for watching this. If you got something out of it, share it, like it, drop a comment if you have questions, and as always, time is our most precious commodity. So I'm always grateful when people take time to watch my videos, and also, this is just advice. I mean, ultimately, at the end of every single day, you have to figure out, when it comes to losing weight and living your best healthy life, what works best for you.